Good day, everyone. My name is Jason Nicolau, and I am an engagement manager here at Sikich. Today, I would like to introduce you to a few tools to manage items in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Our journey will only cover the core of this area. If you need a more detailed look at the solution as a whole, please visit our overview video as well. Future video content will include a more detailed look at the tools used to meet your inventory management needs with Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. Today, we are going to jump right into the item list. Attributes can be used as a filter for our list. I will use color and red in order to create a filtered list. This filtered list of items can be used to offer complementary products or upsells. Fact boxes on the right offer users information about the highlighted product. Here are our attributes and our forecasts powered by Cortana Artificial Intelligence. This view can be changed to a list view as well. For those of you that are more data-driven, BC offers a list view that can include as much or as little information as you need in order to complete your tasks on a daily basis. These fields can be added to any location that you see fit, and those fields can also be removed. Now, each time I log in, I can see this additional piece of information, or I can hide it depending on what I desire for my daily activities. Let's drill into the Amsterdam lamp. Please note the information layout that's included on each item card inside of Business Central. Our first layer of information is the promoted information. This is information that everyone desires to see. Very important, very critical, regardless of job function. There's another layer of information which is important for most people inside of the organization. This information is important to keep track of for most activities. Now, there are also additional fields that collect data that may not be useful for every job role, and those are housed at another level of information inside of Business Central on the card view. The idea here is to streamline your experience and empower users to be as efficient and as personalized without ever touching the code. Our first Fast tab is the Item Fast tab. This includes information that classifies the item, things like the item number, things like description and inventory category codes. But there might be more that needs to be stored for each one of these particular items. For example, I may need to keep track of cross-reference information so that I could track both customer and vendor part numbers to minimize errors, to streamline that ordering process, to make sure that my information that I submit to my vendor allows for fast and quick processing as well as accuracy. For those of you that buy the same item from multiple vendors, it might be important to keep track of different prices and discounts that these vendors offer. Those might be quantity driven, or the prices may vary based on which vendor you're using to purchase that particular item. If vendors have multiple lead times, it also might be important to keep track of multiple lead times. And that can be housed under your vendors file. And this allows you to keep track of those item numbers as well as those lead time calculations so that when you're making those purchases, Business Central can suggest dates and allow for planning to make arrangements to meet your deadlines. Before we move on, please note the base unit of measure. For this situation, the base unit of measure is in pieces, and that is the unit of measure that we handle it inside of our warehouse. If we were to sell this item in a different unit of measure, then we can keep track of that right here as well. And finally, when we purchase this item from our vendors, we can set up conversions to allow us to buy in units that make sense for our vendors. And each one of these settings is individualized per item. What that means is that this is not a universal setting. So if one vendor sells in boxes of 6 and another vendor sells in boxes of 10, Business Central will understand that logic and give advice to your purchasing team to make the appropriate purchases in the right quantities from your vendors. So on the replenishment fast tab is where you are telling BC how to fill your demands. The planning fast tab is where we tell Business Central what logic to apply in order to make those suggestions. There are several tools right out of the box that allow us to apply different modifiers to each one of those particular methods. If I were to choose a fixed reorder quantity, my reorder point appears as well as my reorder quantity. This empowers users to understand what the parameters are for this particular item, what those economic order quantities are, what tools and what logic are applied, create consistency, and streamline the process so that your team can process orders faster, quicker, and more accurately, improving your vendor relationships as well as their individual throughput. The replenishment and planning fast tabs provide Business Central the logic to make meaningful recommendations on your requisition worksheet. The premium license extends this logic even further through the planning worksheet by drilling into multiple levels of a bill of material. So suggestions will be made for finished goods, raw materials, and even components that are purchased or those components that are made in-house. Let's take a sneak peek at a couple of other features. On the Planning Fast tab, we have stock keeping units. BC allows you to manage the same item stocked in multiple warehouses by creating stock keeping units. SKUs provide several additional functions. Here I could create a profile by location for Business Central. In the General Fast tab, there are a variety of pieces of information that allow me to manage my internal supply chain. The Invoicing Fast tab allows me to track cost by each individual location in which I stock this particular item. The Replenishment Fast tab gives me the ability to add transfer, to create the hub and spoke supply chain inside of my organization. And also it allows me to manage this individual item by location. I can tell Business Central which location to make suggestions in order to create those transfers, as well as a vendor. If a vendor is closer to a particular location, fills emergency orders, that can all be arranged on the stock keeping unit card. And finally, planning can be done at a location specific level due to the fact that the same item might be a commodity in one warehouse, but might be a special in another. This allows you to leverage all of those tools that we've covered in the previous sections in order to manage each one of your locations at the individual level so that inventory doesn't get bloated, so that you can execute a strategy that allows you to hold on to more of your cash instead of investing it into inventory. Our technology offerings at Sikich go well beyond ERP alone. We offer a variety of services from business intelligence to infrastructure planning and even security services. Sikich will arm your team with the right tools to create an ecosystem of technology.